right, glad to have you. Welcome to the program. Thanks. It's the Joe Pags Show. Great radio stations across the land. Newsmax TV, iHeartRadio, joepags.com. It's all right there. Glad to have you along for the ride. We tried to hook up last week, but I gave her the wrong phone number on purpose just to see if she still had my digits, but I guess not. It's Dana Perino who's on the line. Dana, thank God we hooked up this week.
I'm so glad because I was disappointed last week.
I was too. We were going to have you on the day that your book came out. It was October 25th, and the book is called Let Me Tell You About Jasper, How My Best Friend Became America's Dog. You, of course, the New York Times bestselling author of And the Good News Is. You're a huge hit on the Five over on Fox, and now you've got this podcast. They turned it into a TV show, which I watched yesterday. Please don't ever put that mask on again. Please do me that favor. If people didn't see it, you had a Trump mask on, and Chris had the Hillary mask on. It was pretty good stuff.
That show's a lot of fun.
No, it does. I mean, you guys look like you're having great fun, and I think that's probably why it's popular. You bounce off of each other very well. I really like what you guys are doing. I'm going to talk about the book. You know I'm going to talk about the book. But Dana,
we can talk politics.
But Dana, come on. Dana,
yeah,
Dana.
You already mentioned the book, but we're good.
What the beep? I mean, let me ask you this. You're the former White House press secretary, right? Let's say that you've got Josh Earnest's job right now. What on earth do you even say? What do you do? I mean, this is nuts.
Well, I thought that what Josh Earnest did today was the right thing.
Were you surprised by it?
No.
Okay.
Well, let me back up. I do think that this White House, partly because it comes from the top, has been much more partisan from the actual White House apparatus itself, the podium, rather than just at campaign events, for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a way, could I say I was surprised that they did the presidential thing on the independence of the FBI director? I could maybe have argued. If they had not been, I might not have been totally surprised. But that said, I think they did the right thing. I think that they did the opposite of what Hillary Clinton is doing.
Yeah.
Which is Hillary Clinton decides to attack the FBI director. But I actually have to say, on Friday when that news broke, when an hour later we found out that it was in connection to the Anthony Weiner sexting probe, I belly laughed for 2 hours. Because I was just like, imagine you're the press secretary on the Clinton campaign.
Right.
And they call you and like, hey, we've got this situation that you're going to have to handle. So as press secretaries, you kind of are used to, like, all of it is like bad at this point of a campaign if they're calling you. And you find out that Anthony Weiner is the reason you're going to have to work the entire weekend to try to clean something up. You would have lost your mind. Is
there any cleaning this up, though?
Your head would have
There's no cleaning this up, is there? I mean, this 650,000. Dana, on Friday, this is what I thought. Boy, they must have like 1,000 emails. I mean, they have to have something substantial to even send the letter right now, because Comey basically fell on the sword back in July, knowing that President Obama had a campaign stop with Hillary Clinton 2 days later, knowing that Loretta Lynch said, I'll take his recommendation. She knew what his recommendation was going to be. He fell on the sword. This thing was going to go away until after the election. I mean, did you think it was? I thought it was 1,000 emails, which I thought would be substantial, but 650,000? Really?
Part of me, that's one of the reasons I think that James Comey should have been more fulsome in his letter on Friday. I didn't think that was a responsible thing to do. I think what he did in terms of telling Congress that that there was more information and that he's going to supplement his testimony, like that made sense. But I feel like he should have put it into context, because what happened is he just put that out there with no other information. Then, for the next 72 hours, everybody on cable news, on social media, whatever, is speculating about how many emails. What are they? Are they duplicates? Are they the same ones we've seen? Like, well, I don't know. So basically, you have a casserole of speculation that is in a crock pot for 72 hours, and the whole house is smelling like it. And at the end of it, you're just like, okay, what does this boil down to?
Right.
And 650,000 emails, yes, that's a lot, but it's also, remember, it's the forwardings and the responses, and it was years' worth of emails.
Does he, in your opinion, should he have sat on it? I mean, James Comey, he had to do something.
I don't think he should have sat on it. Absolutely not. I think he did the right thing. I just think that he probably should. I think that from a press secretary perspective, I think he just could have been a little more fulsome in his explanation as to what it was, so that we could analyze it more appropriately, and that if you're the Trump campaign, you know what you're dealing with, and if you're the Hillary campaign, you at least have some sense of what they're looking at. So instead, what happened is, now you have the reverse of what happened in July. Now Republicans are praising Comey for being so wonderful, and the Democrats are attacking him for being a hack, but that's exactly what Republicans did to him in July. It's very confusing.
It's Dana Perino. Let me tell you about Jasper, How My Best Friend Became America's Dog. That is her brand new book. She's a New York Times bestselling author, of course, a huge TV star, podcast star, and the former White House press secretary. I got to tell you, James Comey has been the enemy of everybody along the last 4 or 5 months and the friend of everybody. Hillary Clinton today, I think, actually pulled this one back out of her pocketbook. It's a vast right-wing conspiracy now. I guess he couldn't do the vast right-wing conspiracy 4 or 5 months ago. He thought he'd wait 11 days before. He was in a spot to where if he doesn't do anything, and we find out it's 650,000 emails, many of them they've already attached to ClintonEmail.com, he would have been excoriated the day after the election.
Absolutely, it would have been wrong. And James Comey, I think, is trying to do the right thing. The news is just breaking right now that there is an FBI investigation into possible foreign ties, inappropriate ties, between Paul Manafort, the former campaign manager for Donald Trump, and Russia.
I wonder who leaked that news. That's interesting.
Probably somebody within the FBI.
Well, probably, because now you've got people inside the FBI. You and I can assume that you've got people going, well, he really screwed us in July. We had all this great information. We can't believe we didn't prosecute or didn't suggest prosecution. And now somebody who's maybe on the Clinton supporting side is saying, oh, yeah, well, look at this that we have over here. So, I mean, is the FBI, in your opinion, actually trying to change the outcome of the election, or they're fighting, sides inside the FBI going, we have to get everything out there so everybody knows everything?
I don't think that they're trying to put their thumb on the scale for either candidate. I truly don't. I think they're just trying to do the right thing with the investigations that they have to do. But in the meantime, you know what's really scary to me? And I'm not saying that our law enforcement and intelligence officers aren't doing all they can, but it was only a year ago that James Comey did an interview with 60 Minutes in which he said, we have open investigations in all 50 states for ISIS ties.
Wow.
So,
and we're not talking about any of that, are we?
Well, we're not talking about it, but also how much attention is being paid going through Anthony Weiner's sexting emails.
Which, by the way, must be gross. That's got to be sick. I don't want that job. Do you want that job?
Ew. Poor FBI agent? He's like, oh, that's deplorable. Oh God. Oh.
I've got to bleach my eyes.
Putting it in certain piles.
No, that's disgusting. Okay, here's what he sent to the 15-year-old. Here's what he sent to the 26-year-old. It's Dana Perino, at Dana Perino on Facebook and on Twitter. The name of the book is Let Me Tell You About Jasper, How My Best Friend Became America's Dog. Go out and get it. It was out about a week ago, so it's available everywhere, all the usual places. I'll put links up on my social, too. 6 months ago, did you think that it was going to look like this? What did you expect 6 months ago? I mean, did you know it was going to be nutty because Donald Trump is one half of who's possibly going to be the next president?
Well, we've certainly not been short of anything to talk about this election season. I have felt for a long time that the civil war that's raging within the Republican Party on the conservative side would be broken wide open, and that it would be very difficult for any Republican to win this election, no matter who was going to run, because the Democrats in a national presidential election start off with about 240 electoral votes just based on demographics and past voting patterns.
Right.
So it's not that hard for them to get to 270. It's much harder for a Republican to do so. I'm not saying that Trump can't do it, because believe me, I remember the year 2000 when I went to bed so happy, believing that George W. Bush had won election. And when I woke up, my husband said, Dana, I'm so sorry. I said, what? He won. He said, no, he didn't.
And then for 36 days, he didn't win, which was...
36 days. So anything could happen. Florida is, again, the battleground state to watch.
Right.
The Trump campaign even says if they don't win Florida, he does not have a path to do set to 270. He's going to be spending a lot more time there this week. I think that makes perfect sense. He closed the gap significantly with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
So instead of her feeling cocky, he now basically has her trying to hold on to her leads in all these battleground states. She is doing much better in North Carolina than he is in the early voting, so that's got to be a concern for the Trump campaign, and I'll bet you see him there this week, too.
It's Dana Perino. Let me tell you about Jasper, How My Best Friend Became America's Dog. It's interesting. Florida's interesting. I grew up in South Florida. Donald Trump has Mar-a-Lago, which is right there on Palm Beach, sort of the Boynton Beach part of Palm Beach, and he lives there 6 months out of the year. So I would be stunned if he doesn't win by 5 or 6 points. I know the national polls this and that and the other thing. He's a very popular dude down there, and Hillary Clinton only shows up at election time. But what's more interesting, and tell me what you think about this, Hillary Clinton last week was going to red states. She, I guess, so confident in the blue states that she's in red states. Suddenly this week, you've got Donald Trump in Michigan today, all over the state. He's in blue states, like New Mexico, I guess. He's going to places where nobody ever thought he had a chance. Does he have a chance in these states?
Well, I think they have to figure out a way to change the discussion a little bit. And I sort of feel like, why not, right? He's going to get media coverage no matter where he goes.
Right.
And there's not a lot more that he can do at this point. There's 7 days to go. He has to keep his people motivated. I think that the Republicans are mostly, for the most part, motivated. A lot of Republicans have come home and decided that they will vote for him after sort of a rocky 3 months on that front for him.
Right.
And for her, I do think that on this FBI thing, yes, it could depress the number of people that want to turn out to vote for her, or it could be the opposite. And Democrats will be so worried that Donald Trump will take this election from Hillary Clinton that they will get out to vote. So we are going to have an amazing election night a week from tomorrow.
Well, between you and me, and I can hear it in your voice, this is actually a whole lot more exciting than what it could have been, right? I mean, we could have had Jeb Bush and Bernie Sanders, and it might have been kind of boring. It's Dana Perino. Can you imagine?
The Republicans would be up by 20.
Can you imagine? It's let me tell you about Jasper, how my best friend became America's dog. I don't want to let you go before we get into this. This actually is your hope to bring us together as a nation, right? Let's talk about something else. And that's not going to happen for another 7-8 days. But at some point, we've got to talk about something else and realize what we actually have in common, don't we?
Well, sure. Are you a dog owner?
I am. I've got 3 dogs. I actually lost one last week. We had 4, but we've got 3, yes.
Oh, see, that's one thing that it's true. Like, if you have owned a pet, and it's, I talk about dogs because mostly I have dogs, although I've had cats when I was a kid. There's something that dog owners all can share without even, like, having to express it in words. Like, I am so sorry about the passing of your dog because I know how that grief never really goes away.
Yeah, it sucks.
And we outlive our dogs. And Charles Krauthammer one time told me, why do we do this to ourselves?
We know what the end is, right?
Why do we get a dog? Yeah. But why do you do it? It's because there's so much joy that they can give you, and it's a great equalizer. Everybody can have something in common when it comes to the dogs. When I go to the park here in New York City, my rule is there's no politics at the dog park. And I just try to have fun and joy there. And the book is just meant to be fun, and hopefully a lot of people enjoy it. There's, I think, some excellent modern art in the book with pictures of Jasper photoshopped into the most hilarious things all across America, even as in American history, as George Washington and other things. So kids are loving it too. That's awesome.
Last question. When you go to the park or when you go anywhere now, whether you're with or without Jasper, how's Jasper one of the first 2 or 3 questions you get asked everywhere?
Always. In fact, you know where I get it most?
Where?
At TSA.
Really?
When I go through security, they'll say, "Did you bring Jasper?"
Well, there you go. Listen, we love the book. We love that you've taken some time. I really, honest to God, your insight into this is so monumental to me because of you being a former press secretary. So you've got an inside perspective that I don't think anybody else is really hearing from. So the fact that you took some time and did it on my show, I really appreciate it. Let me tell you about Jasper, how my best friend became America's dog. Her name is Dana Perino, but you already knew that. Dana, thanks a million for the time.
I'd love to be back again. Let's not wait for another book.
Okay, let's do it. Absolutely. Dana Perino, we appreciate it. We'll be back after this on the Joe Pag Show. Stay here.